Joining me today, he returns on August the 28th against Darren Stewart, Mr. Dustin the Jacoby. How are you today, my friends?
I'm doing well, brother. Good to talk with you. And just enjoying a nice little walk with my dog right now. Got home from practice, so a little bit drained, but yeah, carrying on with the day.
Yeah, is that your first training session of the day, or do you have another one later?
I've got another one later, but that was the first one today.
Okay.
Kind of tweaks my back, tweaks my neck a little bit. So we'll just see how the body feels.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you typically have the two a day kind of thing, or is it really like you said how your body feels depending on that?
With where I'm at in my career and just a little bit older, I train a little bit smarter. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have strength conditioning early in the morning, and then we got a team practice every day. I've got my privates with coach as well, so most of my stuff is knocked out from early morning to mid afternoon, and then I kind of have some downtime, and then of course, I do a lot of rehab as well. Being a little bit older, I've got rehab 2 times in the afternoon, so um, just letting the body recover and be on track, get ready for August 28th.
Yeah, of course. So you mentioned being a little bit older. Obviously, you're not that old. It's just for the game we're in, I guess, is kind of there.
Yeah,
But
yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, everybody in the game. I've been in the game a long time.
of
I was in
course,
the
yeah,
UFC a decade ago.
yeah,
And got
that's
cut, and
crazy.
then did a ton of fighting in between, and here I am back with them and on a nice little run, man. So I think in MMA wise, I'm a little bit older, just in the game, but yeah, in the spectrum of life, no, I'm sitting pretty, man.
Of course, of course. That brings me to my question, I guess. If you could go back to when you were kind of your younger self, quote unquote, but if you could go back with the knowledge that you have today, what are some things you would want to bring back with you?
Man, I would tell myself to really take care of your body. I've been the type that I've always kind of taken care of my body, but I've been hard on it. I've been an athlete my whole life, and but when I was younger, I just battled through the pain. And we were just talking about it today at practice. You need to really take care of your body. What you do off the mats affects your training on the mats and your performance inside the octagon. So just take care of my body a little bit better. I tell myself that, man. When I was younger and first getting into the sport, I was at the hit squad, man, and we would just grind all the time. 3 times a day, all day. We lived at the dorms and we were over there 24/7, just beating the hell out of each other. And as you get a little bit older, man, you need to train a little bit smarter, not quite as hard. You're still training hard, but much smarter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I feel a lot of athletes nowadays they don't really realize. Like they think if they just train, 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 they're gonna be the best in the world. But really, it's everything outside that you do of training, like the way your diet is, the way you train, and the way you recover. I feel like the way you recover is crucial to actually be one of the best in the world, if I'm not mistaken.
No, absolutely, man. Recovery is a big part of my training, a big part of my daily progress and process that I do. And when you're younger, you definitely want to get the rounds in. You want to get as much experience as you can. You want to grind hard. But like I said, man, as you get a little bit older, and even younger, to prevent that later on in your career, man, if you can take care of yourself off the mat, it's going to help you on the mat big time.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So we keep talking about if you were younger a little bit, but you got to bring me back to what martial arts did you actually start with to get into MMA?
So, college football, man. I was a
Football,
college
okay.
athlete. Well, I could take you back to my childhood. I grew up, started wrestling at like 4 or 5 years old, doing taekwondo at the same time, and so I guess it was more of like a taekwondo wrestling
Hmm.
pedigree. But then my family moved from Colorado to Illinois, and they didn't have wrestling, and I was just an athlete, man. I played 4 years of college football, and shortly after that, I got into MMA, and I was just more of a boxer athlete. So I never really had any former traditional background in martial arts.
Okay, so if you could go back to that day where you started taekwondo or where you started wrestling or boxing, which traditional martial art do you think would have benefited you to where you are today to a whole nother level? Is there something specific, or would you have made the same choices?
I mean, I guess I love striking, and my background started in taekwondo. So
Hmm.
it would definitely be stick with Taekwondo, stick with the striking. But again, wrestling is a solid foundation to have, man. If I had younger kids that were wanting to get into MMA from a young age, now the sport's evolving so much where these kids are training at such a young age. So the next generation of fighters, man, 10, 20 years from now are going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, of course. So example for myself, I started training when I was 4 years old. So I kind of have that. I'm 16 right now, so I kind of have
Okay.
that leverage, I guess. So I guess I have the knowledge. Like when I speak with athletes like yourself, like you say, to kind of recover proper and to train proper, that kind of helps me as well to get to that level, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Stick with it, dude. If it's something that you're passionate about and continue to grow, man, stay with it. There's a bright future.
Yeah, for sure. So back on your career, like I said, you returned August 28th against Darren Stewart. When that fight, the contract came in and you saw the opponent, what was the initial reaction? Were you familiar with your opponent? Were you excited for that? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, I was initially set to face Askar Mazharov.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew he was a big Ukraine guy. Let me get in some light here, man.
Yeah.
That way you can see me a little bit. Let's get some light going. Let's get the door shut. I've got my in-laws are staying with me, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little hectic, but
Yeah.
yeah, man. So I was set to fight Askar Mazharov,
Yeah.
and then he failed the USADA test. And a lot of people were like, oh, man, it looks like you got another big guy, another big juice head looking guy. I was like, dude, he does look like he's on steroids, man. Well, anyway, he kept failing his test, not passing his test. And then I got Darren Stewart and absolutely loved the matchup, man. I think Darren Stewart's a good fighter. He's a very tough fighter, durable fighter. He's from the UK, so he's tough, man. And I think it's going to be a good fight for me to go out and showcase my entire skill set. He is a stand-up fighter at 5'10", usually fights at middleweight. So I've been used to facing these big guys here so far at light heavyweight, and now I get to face a guy that I'll be the bigger guy. So I'm looking forward to it.
Can you recall how often you've been the bigger guy in your light heavyweight matchups?
So far I know they've been quite a bit
Not at
bigger
all?
than me.
Really?
Yeah, not at all, man. I mean, Justin Ledet was bigger than me. Max Grishin was bigger than me, and then I guess this last guy I fought, I was taller, I had the reach advantage, but he was very strong and pretty stocky. So that Kuntalaba, I don't know, I'm sure you know who that is. The last guy I fought. So. But this fight, I mean, I'll be fighting a guy a little bit smaller than me, so it's going to be a little bit refreshing. But at the same time, man, he brings it. I'm going to have to be sharp everywhere.
Yeah, of course. So I had to ask you, throughout your career, you've had a long one, I guess. Like you said, you've been in the UFC about 10 years ago, and you're back here. But throughout that time, can you recall who's been one of the toughest matchups? And where does Darren actually rank on that list?
Yeah, I don't know where I can rank him because I haven't locked horns with him yet.
Yeah.
But that's something I do tell people is I've locked horns with some incredibly good guys throughout my career, and I think that's what's led me to where I'm at, man. I got to the UFC super young. I wasn't quite ready, and then I went through outside the UFC. I just fought so many great fighters. My rise through glory kickboxing. Fighting some of the best strikers in the world and locking horns with guys like Alex Pereira and Simon Marcus and Daniel Lunga and Michael Dute and Murad Bouzidi. Those guys are just fierce competitors, just animals in the ring. And I've locked horns with them, man. So I think, Darren Stewart, he's had more UFC fights. I think he's had about somewhere at 10, maybe more than 10 UFC
around
fights.
there,
So he's been in the UFC. He's got more UFC experience. This will be my 6th UFC fight, but as far as experience overall, I know I have way more experience than him. I've locked horns with much tougher guys, and I think it's going to show in our fight.
Yeah, I feel like it's one thing to say that you've had so many fights, and then there's one thing to say that you've had so many fights, but the guys you actually fight are what test you and bring you to that next level. I'm not taking anything away from Darren, but I'm just saying throughout an MMA athlete's career, that's kind of what builds you and your character.
That's what makes me, man. That's what, I say the Hanyak, that's my nickname, the Hanyak. He's forged in fire. He's been in there. He's battle tested. And He's been drugged through the mud, man, and he's rose to the top. And I feel like all of that experience, if you look back at my career, I can say loud and proud, I've never had an easy fight in my professional career. Amateur, that was a different level. I had 10 amateur fights, and I was just head and shoulders above everybody I faced for the most part. But professionally, man, I have not had an easy road, and that's what's brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, so before I let you go here, I got to ask you, I have 5 rapid questions for you. I'm going to put you on the spot, and whatever comes first to mind, I guess that's what the answer is.
This could be interesting, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I got to take a good look. All right, so we got 5. Whenever you're ready, we can get it going.
Get it going, man. And what
All
are they,
right.
just one word answers?
It's up to you, I guess.
Just a brief answer. Okay, first
Yeah,
thing that
yeah.
comes to my mind. I got you.
Yeah. All right, so first one, the favorite home cooked meal.
Favorite home cooked meal would have to be my wife's enchiladas, man, with some elk meat that I've killed and processed.
Okay, number 2, cats or dogs?
Dogs for sure.
Okay, yeah, you have one yourself, I think you said.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, mini putt or real golf?
Real golf all day. Anybody that knows me, I'm an avid golfer. I bring it, baby.
All right, so this is the big one here. Would you rather understand every animal or understand every language?
I would have to say I would rather understand every language. Be much more
Okay.
knowledgeable. Get me much further in life, I think. Depends on which jungle I want to live in, though.
I guess so. All right, 5, the finale. If you were not a fighter, which career path, if you had the choice, anything in the world, what would it be and why?
Man, I'd still be a professional athlete. I'd probably be a professional football player, playing quarterback, slinging it around, but definitely a professional athlete of some sort.
Awesome. So, Mr. Jacoby, it was a pleasure to speak with you. Wish you nothing but the best of skill come August 28th. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I got to know you a little bit better, get familiar with you, and I'll enjoy working with you in the future.